two, three. One, two, three. Let's go.
All right, welcome to a very critical episode of Teaching Crypto. This is AZ Crypto, Mr. FOMO. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe. You're helping us out. We've got some critical news. We had a committee town hall on YouTube. We had some very interesting information. And Mr. FOMO, I will quickly share my ideas with you, and you tell me you agree with me. The committee was really focused on explaining to us basically how much they value our time and they value our money. So, for example, they talk about normally it takes a couple years for this process to play out. And you can see here, we've talked about August 26th is when everything is due. That is 2 weeks from tomorrow as we're taping this. Now, the auction and this is where they clarified something that there was a lot of miscommunication. The auction is where they approve a bidder, okay? So to maximize value. So that is looking to happen on August 29th. That means by early September, we'll have a good idea who the buyer is. Then if you go through, typical auction takes much longer. The hearings takes much longer. They are committed to trying to get this done by the end of October, right? So that is the goal. Plain and simple. October's over. Now, if somehow, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if somehow Voyager emerges as themselves, which again is unlikely, they said technically things could open back up in November. Okay. But new ownership would, if it's a new company, would go into effect fully by the end of October. This is assuming everything goes right. And the new owners would then have the option of opening. However, you talked about this before, November is near Thanksgiving. It's likely that we wouldn't see anything until January. But the committee's talked about alternative ways to get people back their money faster, although that's very, very complicated. What else stood out to you?
One thing that stood out to me is that the committee is made up of customers. We knew that was going to happen, but the range of the customers was what was really intriguing to me. Some of them were said to even have as much as millions on the platform still stuck there. And so to me, that showed that they not only had our best interest, but also a vested interest in making sure that this happened effectively and efficiently and very quickly. And like you pointed out with that timeline, that's an accelerated timeline. Aside from that, I noticed that this team was very aggressive, very hyper focused. They mentioned a lot of things that they had already objected to. They mentioned things that they will object to in the future should they arise. And they also mentioned that Voyager is conducting their own internal investigation on insiders. And I didn't take that to mean just insider trading, really, but insiders like the team, the board, Steve, people who were inside on the company to see if the things that they were doing were on the up and up. And Voyager has their own internal investigation, but if that investigation if that clears the team and the committee feels like they shouldn't be cleared, they will object. And they are also running a parallel investigation on the insiders as well. And so I thought that was super interesting. And that just showed me how good of a job they've done so far and how good of a job they plan to do. And again, they're customers, so that they have a reason to do that good of a job. But I was really satisfied with what I saw from that group so far. It does seem like there's still a lot of number crunching. There's still a lot of unknowns as far as what Voyager has and what they don't have. But there was also the idea of staking. They have objected to some of their staking already. They will object to staking in the future if it doesn't serve the customers.
And so they said Voyager has to go through them, which is impressive.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's the Voyager UCC. If you follow them on Twitter, that's going to keep you up to speed with a lot of stuff. I mean, aside from staying locked on this channel.
Keep it here because we're going to take you up to the 26th. So the 26th, we might start hearing some rumblings. they made it clear they cannot talk about anyone that has placed a bid or how much it is. They did confirm that FTX was the lowest bid. Okay, so that is good news for now. We don't want to celebrate too early. You got to execute between the 26th and the 29th, man. That's everything. That's critical to us. And if we can execute a sale and there's no objections and everything goes through by the end of October, hopefully in November, you'll at least be feeling good about the situation. And they made it clear, normally this takes much longer. So that made me feel much better. If you look at the Celsius situation, they still don't even have a real plan together yet. So again, as bad as this is, at least there is some light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to keep it real with you. If
And
things
I
look
feel,
bad, we will
feel
tell you.
for those viewers out there that are also on Celsius. We feel for you. We're sorry that you guys don't have a plan set yet, and we're going to keep an eye on that situation as well and report that back to you. But right now, it looks like Voyager is cruising. We'd like to see Celsius kind of pick up the pace as well.
Yeah, and the Celsius community is trying to organize a Celsius squeeze and get their coin up to $2. So that's impressive. So kudos to them. So we'll give you guys a shout out there for sure. I wanted to talk about ETH today, and you know that the ETH big update is happening in mid-September. And ETH, at one point was under 1,000, and people were calling for 500. Look at it now; it's chasing 2,000, and it's kind of taking all the market with it. And I want to caution everyone that the bear still might not be over. Remember, the Bitcoin halving is still a ways away, over a year away. So you want to be very careful as a customer. We want to warn you. We're not saying don't go in. We're not financial advisors, but be careful because there is no guarantee whatsoever that we have completely bottomed out. In fact, I personally, not a financial advisor, expect some type of dump between now and the halving. And once the halving happens, I think, it's not straight up, but it's boom time. But I don't think we're there yet. I want to caution everyone. There's still a lot of macro around the world. So be careful. If you are buying today, be ready and willing to take profits, not financial advice, like we said, but don't assume, or you can DCA little by little. And then if you plan to sell in 24 to 25, you'll be fine. But just be aware, we are still in a bear market. We're nowhere near, going way up above 30K.
I think that's a really good point, especially with all the excitement that will be coming to the space. There's going to be a lot of people dumping on your heads if you're picking up right now. So it's a game of hot potato right now, and I will hazard a guess and say that the bear really isn't over. I have no reason to believe that the bear is over, that we don't have another downturn coming. So it is a game of hot potato. If you're entering into a trade and you get some profits, look to take those profits. They might not be there in an hour.
Yeah, but the coins we've mentioned recently,
we're not at the beginning of April and in the bull run where you can just turn off all your sell tickets and just watch your money rise and swim in it like Scrooge McDuck. We've got to be on it right now.
But the stuff we've mentioned, Optimism, Avalanche, Matic, regular ETH, they're doing well right now. So again, eGold is starting to pick up steam. So a lot of the coins we mentioned in the past are doing pretty well. So, if you DCA and you're planning to hold for 2 years well after the halving, you'll be okay. But I would caution against thinking that we are completely in the clear. We will keep you up to date, everything that goes on. We're getting closer to that August 26th date, and we're getting closer to the ETH merge in the mid-September. So there's a lot of things going on in crypto. Keep it here. Please hit that subscribe button. Get us above 300. We would really appreciate it. Please share. Please like. And we will see you guys in the very near future. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZ Crypto. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.